Hello, my name is Craig, and today I'd like to demonstrate how to properly apply Danish oil to wood, specifically redwood. The first step to applying any kind of oil or varnish is to properly prepare the surface. In the case of redwood, redwood's a somewhat soft material. It's not really hard like oak and other types of wood. So this type of wood, you'd want to use something like a 150 grit to a 220 grit sandpaper. On smaller projects like, say, this piece of wood here, you'd probably find just using a piece of sandpaper with your hand, much like what I have right here. And when you're sanding the wood, you want to sand with the grain, like so. And you start with the lower grit, the 150, and that's going to rough the surface up just a little bit and take off some of the surface imperfections. And once you feel confident that the surface is smooth and some of the larger imperfections are gone, you'd want to move on to a larger grain like 220. After you apply even pressure with the 220 grit and you get the surface even more smooth, then you're ready to apply your Danish oil. The oil I used is Watco Danish oil. I bought it at Home Depot. It's nothing special really, it's just regular old Danish oil. And if you have a larger project, like the one I have behind me, this is a tabletop for a picnic table that I made. I purchased a dual action sander. This happens to be a Milwaukee brand. And this sander is just a much faster way of sanding something large. That being said, this is an unsanded, unoiled piece of wood, and you can see it has a lot of character to it, a lot of grain. And here I have a finished piece that I've already sanded, just for viewing. The Danish oil really brings out the color, gives it a little bit of a sheen, but it's not really oily to the touch. The Danish oil name just kind of sounds like it's going to leave an oil residue, but it doesn't. It soaks completely up. And here's a piece of the unprotected wood. Moving on how to apply Danish oil. It's very simple. You're going to want to shake up your Danish oil a lot. And I'm not going to actually be applying any Danish oil. I don't want to make a mess. That'll give you the general idea how it's done. So you shake this up very well per the directions on the back. Pull your cap off and use a cloth much like this. This is just a cotton cloth. Apply some of the Danish oil. You'll take your piece of wood and just rub it on. Very simple. And rub it on just with the grain of the wood. And apply more as needed. You want to put a fairly thick coat. It's not going to actually have any real mass on the surface. It's going to soak in very quickly, but you want to see the color actually change as you're applying the Danish oil to the surface. And then per the instructions, you're going to want to let it sit for around 30 minutes to allow it to soak in, and then apply another coat and allow it 15 additional minutes to soak in. And then you're free to add another coat if you like, if you don't like how dark it turned out. There's different colors of Danish oil depending on what kind of wood you're working with. So that's basically how you prepare the surface and then apply Danish oil. It's a very simple process. You want to sand the surface smooth and then sand it some more with a higher grit to make sure that all the imperfections are gone. You're going to need to clean off all the sawdust that you put on there. You can use an air tool or something like that, even a rag, just to wipe off the extra sawdust. And then you take your Danish oil with a cotton cloth and apply it with the grain. Give it some time and apply some more. Hope you enjoyed my video. Thank you.